St. David from the 6th century founded 12 monasteries, and David's monks were known for their great austerity, extreme manual labor, very little sleep, and unusually for the time, they only drank water. They were teetotal. Their diet consisted only of bread and vegetables with a little salt, is what is recounted. So I wonder if that is why we have the gospel that we do today. I've always wondered, in this, it amuses me, is more to the case, but why the specification of those who trample salt underfoot are men, why you have to put this phrase in here, this instrument in here. They can be good for nothing, that's salt that's lost its taste. It's good for nothing except to be thrown out, to be trampled underfoot by men, as opposed, I suppose, to any other beast that might want to trample salt underfoot. Commentators often have noticed how in this opening to the Sermon of the Mount, Jesus' language is very inclusive, is very universal. The you is an emphasis. Have that pronoun there, you are the salt of the earth. To have that there indicates this. And it's the disciples who've come to hear the Sermon on the Mount to whom he's speaking. It's not particularly chosen apostles. It's not that. You are the salt of the earth. Anybody of you who are hearing this, who's come to listen to me, you. Then we have the salt of the earth, of everything, of the whole earth. They're the light of the world, the whole world. And so we don't see an election, a specification, something by which Jesus says, well, there's only a few people here who are called to hear me. The light that the disciples, that all of them are to shine, is to shine for everyone. But that, of course, means everyone who doesn't want to hear, everyone for whom the salt becomes tasteless, those who don't want to see the light. And so another way the image of the salt can be taken, the salt that loses its taste, is to speak of a self-emptying, the facing of persecution that those who want to bring the message of Christ to the world, to the earth, will face. And that is the context, if you remember, just before Jesus calls the disciples salt and light. We have the Beatitudes that conclude with the blessing, how blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake. So the losing of salt in this way, the being trampled underfoot by men, is an expression of how discipleship may call for us to be poured out like water. Or as the psalm says, it is zeal for your house that has consumed me. The insults of those who insult you have fallen on me. Maybe in this period of Lent, when we very regularly celebrate St. David, the focus then of this discipleship is appropriately on these reproaches, on the end game, if you like, of the self-emptying of Christ on the cross. And yet in this austerity of David's life, in this, perhaps one might say, self-emptying for God, we nevertheless have his last words: be joyful, brothers and sisters. Keep the faith. This faith consists in the light. This faith consists in the salt. And the desire of Jesus, the command of Jesus to the disciples to be salt and light, is not in doing specific things about the preaching, about gaining many people. It's simply about being examples of what it means to be a child of God. Seeing your good works, everybody, may give the praise to your Father in heaven. Because David continues in his last words, keep your faith and do the little things that you have seen and heard with me. Doing the little things so that seeing our good works, the world may give praise to their Father in heaven.